This is part 2 of our Innova build, and for this time around, we're going to be installing a full 3-inch Borla exhaust. Okay, the exhaust of the Innova actually starts here. This is the turbocharger itself. This is the downpipe here. This is the stock downpipe. It's called a downpipe because, well, it goes down. That's why. Contrary to popular belief, turbocharger engines don't have any headers. What they have is a turbo manifold, which is actually this one here. So very, very hard to see though. It's this thing here. It's that rusty thing over there. And how it is, it connects to the flange here at the bottom. This thing here, this is what feeds the exhaust gases to the turbocharger. Changing that with a stock turbo actually gives you no additional power. This log type design actually is pretty efficient given what the stock turbocharger is. If you upgrade turbo, then yes, by all means you can change it, but if we're just talking about stock to stock, there's no need to change it. There's enough flow and enough velocity in the log manifold to boost the turbo, so it's not much of a problem. So we're going to change out the exhaust with a full stainless steel 3-inch system. So this is the downpipe. This is our 3-inch downpipe. The stock downpipe, for your reference, is around 2.5 inches. Well, actually a little bit less. And the rest of the piping is also less than 2.5. So turbo engines, the rule of thumb is bigger is better. So we start here with the downpipe. There's a flexible section here to isolate the engine vibration from the rest of the exhaust. Then it's still 3 inches all the way here. This is the rear section with the muffler, and this is the rear pipe, which terminates out in a Borla tip. I want to use a black tip for mine, and I want to have a side exhaust instead of the usual rear exhaust, just to be different. And for all guys wondering that, yes, you can buy the downpipe separately. You can just buy that, or you can just buy this. But if you're looking for power, obviously you need to have the whole system. But if you have to choose just one, get the downpipe, because the downpipe itself is around 5 to 6 horses more, whereas the full exhaust is good up to 8 to 10 horses more, which of course we will install and test each and every section once we put it on the dyno. Okay, our downpipe is installed, and this is where it starts. This is the turbo itself. This is the downpipe. It's a full 3 inches from the get-go, and it's a 4-bolt flange. The downpipe is actually the same for the 2.5 engine Innova, Hilux, and Fortuner, so it's actually all pretty much the same. Even the whole exhaust is the same. The only difference is actually in the very, very rear section. The Innova is a little bit shorter than both the Hilux and the Fortuner, so the total rear end is a bit shorter, but downpipe to mid-pipe, everything's the same. So now we're gonna dyno it and see how much power we get, if we get any at all. Here's our results, and yes, we did get additional power. So our previous intake mod, we were at here at 77 horses. That's peak to peak. So now we're at 79, so that's practically 80 horses. Not a lot actually, but there is some gain. At least it's not a loss. So it's pretty much 3 horses through and through. And The more telling part is actually this one. If you look at the boost graph here, there you go. This blue line is stock boost. This purple line is with the downpipe. As you can see, boost went down by a little bit. So less boost means less power. It's because we freed up the exhaust and then didn't generate as much boost because it's more maluwag. The loss of boost is actually 1 psi, pretty consistent all throughout. 1 psi may sound small, but it's not. The old rule of thumb is that for every 1 psi, it's equivalent to 10 horses. It's just a rule of thumb. It's not an exact science, but at least that will tell you how much per psi is worth, give or take. We'll be solving that one with a boost controller in part 3 when we install the intercooler, and then we'll do tuning after that one. But for now, we're gonna complete the rest of the exhaust and see if we get any more power or we will drop in power. Okay, I mentioned before that every other shop that makes an intake for the Innova Hilux Fortuner does it like this. Basically, a section of pipe with the airflow sensor and a 3-inch cone filter, then an elbow connector to the turbo. We already know that this one either doesn't make any power or loses power, and we'll show it to you right now. Remember what we said in part 1 about when other shops do the intake, they actually lose power and don't or not make any power? We just did it, and here's the proof. This blue line is our dyno with the intake and the downpipe. This red line is when we changed our intake to what every other shop does, which is basically a tube and a filter. That's it. And as you can see, it promptly lost power. Without doing nothing. We didn't take the car to the dyno. We did everything in less than an hour. Everything is the same. The conditions are the same. Weather conditions, temperature, everything's the same. So without doing nothing, power loss. So if you needed any more proof that their intake sucks, literally, there it is. Alright, here's a side-by-side comparison of our intake and what pretty much every other shop does over here. That just goes to show that this section here and the size of the filter itself has significant power improvements over something like this. Like we keep telling you, an intake is not just a bunch of tubes and a filter that connects to the engine. No, there's a lot of math and science behind it and testing. And if the shop doesn't have a dyno, which I'm pretty sure they don't, they have no business quoting you how much power their stuff makes. As you can see, we just did it. Direct back-to-back comparison without doing nothing. We changed it to this one, humina. What other explanation could there be? Except that this kind of intake sucks.